How you doing, guys, and welcome to another video. And this video is all about my Pocket P4K Pro. Before we get into this video, I just want to tell you a bit about why this came about, so I'll try to be as quick as possible. A lot of people, when you talk about rigs, they always assume that what they've got is the best. So when I posted that video the other day, the short, about protecting your HDMI ports, you know, I got some comments on the Blackmagic group about, oh, it's inelegant, oh, you should just buy a clamp, you should just buy a clamp. So many people saying I should just buy a clamp, when I actually said that at the beginning of the video. It just don't make sense. I just don't think people read a lot these days and process information properly. You know, some people liked it, some people said it was crusty, but they just don't understand the situation that not everybody is the same. A lot of us are freelance shooters, you know, and we've bought cameras, you know, £1,000 camera with amazing picture quality, but it has some shortfalls. Unless I'm gonna start spending 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, I've got to put up with those shortfalls and make the best. And this is why I made this build here. Now, typically, if I wanted to go on a shoot and I wanted to get some good handheld footage, I don't. I suck at it. That's simple as that. My footage is shaky, it's all over the place, and stabilization sometimes can't even save you. So I had to build something that's gonna give me the best angles of view and be stabilized, and I could fit everything on there, but at the same time strip down in a matter of seconds and go straight onto a gimbal. So if we look at the bottom here, you can see I've still got my DJI Ronin RSC2 plate on here, because I like to go straight from handheld straight to gimbal, and that has to be done very quickly. Now, normally, people, they're talking about, yeah, you need to rig your camera, you need to put this on there, you need to put that on there. So let's just take a look what I would need if I wanted to, you know, build out my rig properly. So first of all, I'm gonna need a cage. Now, I did buy the small rig quick release cage because I thought that this would be a good look for me. Then you need your adapter clamp, so small rig adapter clamp. Top handle, the rod mount, monitor mount, side handle, couple of batteries, maybe internal and NPF 970, the small rig plate, another side handle here, then rails, V-mount battery. I don't want to do all this. Sometimes I just want to go to the place where I'm going, shoot the B-roll, shoot the location, shoot the wedding, switch to a gimbal, get a few gimbal shots and move on. If I want to do that with all of this stuff built up, you're looking at buying some sort of Ronin RS2 with, you know, different adapters and V-mounts and that kind of stuff, and it gets very expensive. It gets extremely expensive, and I want to maximize every single penny that I can. So this is the reason why I built this P4K Pro rig. So I'm going to break it down first, and then we're going to go through the build setup because it's so simple, so cheap, and then we're going to go through the settings to get you at least about 58 minutes on the internal LPE6 battery. Yes, you heard that right. Blackmagic claim that you can get about 55 minutes from this. I'm gonna show you how to get 55 minutes from this, and it's just a perfect setup, but let's get into it now. Okay, so first comes the build. So the first thing you're gonna need is a NATO rail. Okay, it can be any type of NATO rail. This one is the kind of a thick one. You can get much thinner ones these days as well that look much better than this. So you do need a NATO rail. And then you just put your NATO rail on the top of your Blackmagic in the 1/4 that they've got at the top. Don't worry, this can hold a monitor, it can hold, you know, battery, power banks, everything like that. Do not use this to put a handle in. Only for lightweight goods, please, okay? This is just a NATO rail, just screwed in. I've screwed it in very tight using just a simple Allen key, okay? Or a hex key, or whatever you call it, whichever country. Tighten it up so it doesn't move. So then we've got a lot of options in terms of mounting the monitor. So as you can see, we've got things like this little ball joint here. These are absolutely amazing. I actually really love these because they're so strong. They're powerful as well. Like when you do these up, they're very strong. But the reason why I'm not using this one is because sometimes it can move around in the 1/4 joint. Then you can use a monitor mount, but again, I'm not using this one either because the degree angle doesn't move far enough. It doesn't come far enough down. So the one I love to use is this one here by U-Rig. So basically it's just a basic monitor mount with a NATO rail at the bottom, and then obviously you've got your screw here, and it's got a locking pin here as well. Great mount this is. This is going to cost you, run you in about £17 though. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to screw that onto the NATO rail. Okay, so that's that. Then I've got a port keys, LH5P here, but obviously you can use any monitor. Hopefully, if your monitor hasn't got the flip options inside, then hopefully it's got a 1/4 at the top. Mine doesn't have a 1/4 at the top, but luckily it's got the flip options inside, and we've got the locking pins here as well, so this will fit on properly without spinning. So let's just put this on now. And then as you can see, that's dropping down, so we need to tighten that up a bit. Make sure you get this quite nice and tight, and make sure no one bangs your monitor, because the last thing you want is for your monitor to go into your screen, yeah? It is for the battery to go into your screen. Really and truly, you should have a tempered glass screen protector. You can see mine's coming up a bit here in the corner, but I always put these on because, you know, when you want resale value, you want it to be high and nothing, you know, damaged on the screen. So I always use a tempered glass anyway. But yeah, just do it up tight enough so it doesn't, you know, just slam down, and then you've got a nice looking rig there. So as you can see, it's already looking like the P6K Pro. Amazing. And you know, that's one of the things I loved about the P6K Pro when I had it, is the flip screen was amazing, and I did like the battery life where you could get 1 hour, but we've solved the flip screen problem here. And as you can see, it looks quite nice. It's not intrusive or looking big, or we've got big things hanging off the top. It's amazing. So here, all I have here is a NATO clamp, and I've just got a small rig, cold shoe mount just screwed into the top of it, yeah? And then that will clip onto here should I need to connect anything like mics or anything like that. So that's it, so we've got it here. That's our P4K Pro. Okay, so let's put the HDMI cable in. And if you saw the short, you would know that I put this piece of plastic around the HDMI port, and that stops the HDMI from getting pushed in. So if you're not rigging your camera, but you still want to use like a monitor and stuff like that, this will save your port. There's no other option if you're using a cageless design to save your port unless you do what I've done here. So I'm just going to plug that in now, and then I'm going to wrap this under, and then just plug this into the HDMI on the monitor, and that's it. We're ready to start shooting if we wanted to right now. But if we want to, then we can add, you know, your wireless goes on top, or your whichever mic you've got, or your shotgun mic, put that in and then just screw that in. You've actually got a nice functioning rig here now. And what it is, it's very smooth to use this. Because it's nicely balanced. You've got this nice monitor with the battery hanging at the back. You can put your lens at the front, obviously, and then it's nicely balanced. But also, if you lift up the monitor and you're shooting, you know, from the hip, you can actually stabilize it just by pushing the monitor into your body, or you can do it obviously up higher as well into your chest. It's actually fantastic like this. Now we need to jump into the settings, because there's a couple of things that I need to show you how to use, and that's mainly false color. So we want the same false color that's coming from the camera on the monitor, and also how do I get, you know, nearly 1 hour from an LPE6 battery continuous recording. So let's jump into the monitor section now. Okay guys, so let's see how we can achieve those 55 minutes runtime on the P4K Pro using internal battery, the LPE6. Okay, so you've got to treat this like a mobile phone. You know, when you're using resources like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, screen brightness, all of that kind of stuff, that kind of stuff will suck the life out of your battery, okay? So we've got to turn a few things off and a few things on. Now, the first thing I want you to turn off is going to be the Bluetooth, okay? So if you're not using it, you haven't got any devices that control via Bluetooth, just switch it off. I do have a device, the Portkeys LH5P monitor, that controls via Bluetooth, but I don't really use it because I prefer just to press the button and done. So turn the Bluetooth off. Then we want to make use of the things like false color and focus peaking, etc. and stuff like that. So normally when you do your toggles, you know, you've got your F1, F2, F3 buttons at the top. When you press them, they show up on your monitor, which is fine. The only one that's not usually selected is going to be the false color. So your false color can be a lot different than what you see on your monitor. And also it would be nice if you could just press false color and then it comes on the same as on both. So basically what you do is, if you can see here, it says F1 parameter displayed on. We also need the HDMI switched on. So normally false color is turned off. So turn that on. And then when you turn on your monitor, if I press F1, you can see that the false color is exactly the same on both. That's what we need, because we don't really want to use a different manufacturer's false color. Even if it's good, just try to use the one that's built into the camera. You know, so you want to try and match all of your colors, especially the temperature on the monitor. But you also, if you're using things like false color, which is amazing, make sure you select that, which I've just told you, which is in the menu, setup, and then come to the toggles, the F1 toggles, F1, F2, F3 toggles, and put false color on HDMI, which is false color. Very important to have it the same on both monitors. So the last thing what we're going to do is screen brightness. So if we go to monitor, and then we go to LCD, and then we go to the, what are we on, the second dot, yep. And then we've got screen display brightness. We just want to turn that all the way down to the bottom. because we don't really need that anymore because all of our information is on our monitor already. So we've got everything we can see here. Obviously by recording, we're just going to hit the camera record button at the front so we can just record. You can see it recording there. If we want our false color, you can turn that on from the buttons here, that kind of stuff. And also remember, you've got your ISO, white balance and shutter buttons at the top as well, so you can access them from there. High frame rate. If you want to do fast frame rates, I usually just press the HFR button because I know what I want in slow motion or what I don't. But that's something that you might have to work out. Everything has its, you know, pros and cons. I will just press HFR if I need slow-mo. But you don't have to turn this all the way down. But the lower you have it down, the more battery life you're going to get. But that's something that you'll have to work out, which is the best way for you to use, you know, with your screen brightness down to the bottom. So yeah guys, that's it. So shooting with a setup like this is absolutely magical. You've got your tilt-in screen, you've got 1 hour battery life, which you can just use from a normal LPE6, which is absolutely amazing. So imagine, that's continuous recording, you're getting 55, 56 minutes. So 3 of these batteries technically should last you a whole day. Yes, you have to carry the NP550s or something like that to go in your monitor, but one NP550 can last my monitor for absolutely ages. Like the time it can run for is crazy. So I don't really have to worry about using NP550s. I'll throw 2 of them in the bag and then they can run for donkeys as well. So it's just nice not to have to worry about wires and cables and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, a couple of these should get you a good, yeah, three hours recording off and on, because I suppose that most of us record for like 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, maybe 3 minutes here, you know. So you got to think about it. Nearly 1 hour continuous recording, a couple of these batteries will sort you out nicely. And then the thing about having a monitor as well is that if you've got a monitor that has, you know, your RGB parade or you know, WAVs or anything like that, you know, you've got all of those extra added benefits there as well of using this, as well as having a tilt-in monitor. So guys, really cheap setup here, and I hope this is going to be very useful to some of you. And I think it will really help you, those who have just got a P4K, got your own business, don't really want to spend too much money yet, you know, cages and all that kind of stuff, and rigging can be very expensive, and maybe it might not fit your profile. So, you know, using something like this is just absolutely amazing. Now, if I did say want to go to a gimbal mode, right, I could just switch off this monitor. Let's take off this mic, pull out the HDMI, take off the monitor. Probably the good thing to do here now would be to have the brightness screen left here, so you could just have it, so next time you press the menu, it's automatically there. And then just slap it straight on the gimbal, because I've got the same mount on the bottom of the camera that's on for the gimbal. So you go straight to gimbal. Do you see how quick that was? So this is just my tip for having a quick run and gun and making the most out of your P4K if you've bought it in 2022. So guys, I hope that made sense. I hope this video wasn't too long, and I hope some of you found it really helpful who are just getting into this camera, or even if you have this camera already, if you use it as a B cam or whatever. So guys, that's the end of the video. I'll see you on the next one later.